So even though we face the difficulties of today and tomorrow, I still have a dream. It is deeply rooted in the American dream. I have a dream that one day this nation will rise up and live out the true meaning of its creed. We hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal. Our family gathered around the small black and white television in our living room, watching attentively as the historic crowd spilling from the Washington Monument. But you needn't have been in the audience that night to know the Reverend Martin Luther King Jr.'s dream speech. We've all heard it, even if only on his birthday or during Black History Week. August 1963. I remember it as a time of great hope, energy, and promise. And on the cusp of my teens, I found myself swept into civic action, marching, protesting, volunteering for candidates. And that was despite my family's admonitions to keep my head down and study, since Negroes, as we were then called, had to be twice as good to get or stay in the game. Sadly, the promise of that moment was met with violence and upheaval, and by the time I had college in my sights, the family messages prevailed. I focused my energies on personal achievement, school, training, career, and family filled the next decades. Then I had the stroke that inspired my first show. And staying alive, rehabilitation, providing for my sons filled the front burner. Recovered, I wrote, traveled, performed, always mindful I might not have even another day. Then came COVID. Life screeched to a full stop. The whole world upended, stalked by disease and death, for which isolation seemed the only remedy. But there was, of course, a silver lining. As my stroke taught me, there always is. For me, it was time to consider, if this is my last year on earth, or the end of life as I know it, what really matters? Who matters? What can I live without? And what can I not live without? And in the midst of that rich time of exploration came the murder of George Floyd. From around the world, millions flooded the streets declaring Black Lives Matter. But here, in the birthplace of the movement, protesters were met with militarized police flanked by armed right-wing extremists and people countering, all lives matter. The scenes so echoed the tumult of the 60s. A slumbering self awoke. I explore the canon of Black and liberation literature and return to the dream speech. But this time, I hear words less often cited. When the architects of our republic wrote the magnificent words of the Constitution and the Declaration of Independence, they were signing a promissory note to which every American was to fall heir. We've come to cash this check, a check that will give us, upon demand, the riches of freedom and the security of justice. Just as COVID holds a mirror to our society, revealing all its fissures and flaws, so does that murder and Black Lives Matter. For me, these months have been a time of studying and awakening, of embracing my cronehood, my Blackness, my lived experiences. And though sheltering in place limits my mobility, it will not muffle my voice. Not now. Not ever again. In the words of MLK, America defaulted on the promissory note for us. But America, 2020 brought you another chance. Grab the fierce urgency of now. For now is the time to make real the promises of democracy. Thank you.